Hey guys, Coach Bricks here. Hey, wanted to talk about the foot strike. All right, when it comes to running, when it comes to speed, um, how important this is, and what you're going to see a lot of your athletes. Okay, what we have to remember is that when we're sprinting, okay, it's dealing with just with sprinting here. We got to stay up on the balls of our feet. Now, people say toes. I don't like to say toes because I just think it's just not where your feet are. It's just not how you hit the ground. It's the balls of the foot. You got to tell the athletes where it is so they understand. Okay, so if you watch your world class athletes, their heels never strike. Now it looks like it to the human eye, the naked eye, person who doesn't really know, it looks like their heels touching the ground a little bit, but it doesn't. It actually stays off the ground ever so slightly. All right, because anytime you hit with the heel, it acts as a brake. We don't want that. No athlete wants that. Okay, because it's almost like I'm driving a car down, and each time I drive, I tap the brake, I tap the brake, I tap the brake the whole way down. All right, if I'm going a mile, I'm tapping it the whole way. Well, you're never going to be able to accelerate. You're never going to be able to hit top end speed. All right? You're never going to be able to get really anywhere. It's going to take you forever. So you don't want the heels to hit at all. So your world class athletes and athletes that know how to run, they stay up on the balls of their feet. All right, they get that power, they get that force from the balls, not from the heels. All right, so it's key to make sure we're understanding how that goes. Okay. Another thing is each strike, each foot strike, can create 8 to 10 times the amount of force. All right, so each time I hit the ground, that's how much force is coming through. All right, it's a lot of force. So you got to be able to prepare the body for force absorption. All right, so if I'm not being able to absorb that force, eventually something's going to break down. You see it with a lot of people who run, um, have hip problems, knee problems, things like that. I really truly believe, in my opinion, it's because their bodies, their muscles can't absorb, and the tendons can't absorb the force that they need to. All right, so the joints are pounding. So that's why I think strength is very important when it comes to running. All right, how much strength? I think it's always up for debate. I mean, everybody will say you need this much, you need this much, you need this. You need some type of strength, okay, when you run. Typically, young kids, when they run, you watch them, they develop their strength as they continue to run because they're building that. But as we get older as adults, we sit a whole heck of a lot more. We become sedentary in our lifestyle. And then we try to go and be those weekend warriors or run and do stuff like that and not properly train. And you see what happens. Our muscles are deconditioned, and then it leads to some type of injuries, okay? So we got to know that it's going to require a lot of force. You also got to understand when you're coming through, the foot's going to contact the ground directly under the hip. All right, that's where all that force is coming down. It's coming down, and then it pushes off, propels us in a horizontal fashion. Okay. One of the last things I like to talk about, when I think most people don't discuss at all, and I think is not talked about enough for runners, is the big toe. I guarantee if you took most normal athletes out there, most normal human beings, most people never utilize their big toe properly. I mean, I've seen people run all different kind of ways, feet out, feet in, all this kind of stuff. And the big toe, I call it big toe mojo, never gets the love it needs. All right, it just doesn't. It doesn't get worked. It doesn't do a lot of stuff. And I really got into this about 3 years ago after listening to a Cal Dietz, seminar on big toe and how important it is, and then Justin Kavanaugh really emphasizing this with his type of speed work and stuff, and he's produced some of the fastest athletes out there. How important that is, and I've been training big toes with a lot of my athletes. We isolate some of it, but we also just get them out of their shoes. And I know a lot of people have been into that no shoe thing for a while, and I think it should take hold much more. Now I understand when you're in a high school setting or college setting, you got a lot of people walking around and stuff. The safety aspect goes into place. But if you're just doing it by yourself, there's one or two people there you're training, and the atmosphere is safe enough, get them to get their shoes off. And feel what it is to like to drive into the ground, especially with that big toe. All of a sudden, stuff engages that you never knew engaged. I mean, my glutes, immediately when I started doing this, started to engage dramatically. I mean, how I started to do squats, how I started to do deadlifts, pushing through that foot. All right, feeling the force go in. And if we can get this big toe to actually produce what it's supposed to do, okay, you'd be amazed. Because how I see most athletes run is they run and they roll to the outside, out to that little toe. All right, really the big toe never getting really the adequate push off that it needs. So there's going to be more on this topic later on, but I think this is one of the key things when it comes to foot strike. Staying up on the balls of your feet, not using your heels because they act as the brake. How much force is actually applied into the ground on each stride, all right, and why strength is important, and then also the big toe. All right, guys, it's Coach Brick. Stay strong, stay blessed. Remember, greatness never